Good evening, friends. Welcome to a Tuesday evening Facebook Live. Excuse me. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. Hopefully you had an amazing Halloween. We definitely did. We don't get trick-or-treaters out where we live. The little kids would have to walk way too far, and it's really dark. We don't have any street lights or anything. So Bo and I decided to drive over to Cassie and Antonio's, and they were Duck Duck Goose. So if you are on my personal Facebook page, you did see the posts from that. We had so much fun. I don't know why, but literally, I cry over everything. I was bawling the entire time over trick or treating. I have no idea what my problem is, but I could not stop the tears from flowing because Lucas was so stinking cute. And I think all of our grandbabies are super cute. And then on Saturday, last Saturday, Lucas spent the night for the first time. So we actually have had a lot of Lucas time, and he was here all day today. So we have our fill. We're exhausted. It takes two grown adults to take care of that little baby. I think it's just because we're not used to it anymore. But, anyways, it is a blast to have him. So, hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. Good evening. Hello, Heather, Valerie, Stephanie. So I had one of the neighbor girls, she's in high school. She came over on Saturday morning and kind of went through a lot of my cards. I didn't have to, I created a box to send to the lady who did upstairs for me. So she organized everything and she's like, "Do you realize you don't have very many sympathy cards or baby cards?" And I kind of don't do a lot of sympathy cards and baby cards, not for any particular reason. So tonight's card, I really wanted to do one that with a happy birthday in the same design, but I couldn't find my happy birthday stamp. That's a whole nother story. But tonight's live, we are going to do some sympathy cards. I know it's not something that we enjoy making, but we don't want to make one when we need it. We need to have them on hand so we don't have to really concentrate and think on making one. So that's why I kind of wanted to put this out there that this could, any of our designs really could be changed around to a sympathy or a baby or anything like that. But I really wanted to focus on some of those today. So hopefully you guys don't enjoy tonight's card class, but I hope you get some inspiration to create some other cards. But I do hope you enjoy it as well. Good evening, Marie and Jill, Anna. Hello, everybody. Okay, let's scoot you over and we are going to get started. I did hear everything go off on my computer, so I think we are live. Hopefully, cross our fingers. I don't see it on my iPad, but that's okay. We're just going to continue until it shows up. So I pulled out the peaceful moments. So when I talked about earlier that I couldn't find my happy birthday, this is the happy birthday that it is missing in action. It is MIA. I have no idea where it is, but here's where the sympathy one goes. If you don't have this set, it came out a couple years ago, and I love the sentiment with Deepest Sympathy. It's if you need it, that's the stamp set that I always go to. And then I couldn't really decide on what designer series paper to use. So I texted my upline and I asked her, and she said the Splendid Day would be perfect. And it really was. So what I did is I opened up the pack and I pulled out all of the sheets. And I kind of just coordinated. So the backs are very shimmery. I don't know, copper. This is copper. But I really wanted the opposite side. So I picked two that were in coordinating colors to create these cards. I did make three of them. I don't know if we're going to make all three on the live, but I did pre-make three of them using this set just so I could show you what it looks like. So here are the three that I already made. I am just going to refresh my iPad to see if it will show that we are live. And for some reason, my iPad is not wanting to, oh, there it is. Okay, so we are good to go. So these are the three that I created using the Splendid Day Designer Series paper. I really liked this pool party, but I couldn't find a different pattern for the front. So I did both of them the same, which I still think is perfect. And we do have the pool party ribbon. This one is more of the Sahara sand, which is a color that I don't use very often. And we do have the crumb cake ribbon, and I thought it paired well with it. So that's what I did there. And this one is the Calypso Coral, and we don't have a Calypso Coral ribbon, but I want to show you how I did this ribbon in Calypso Coral. So we're going to start with this one first, and if we have time, we will do the other two as well. And I now will have six sympathy cards because I am doing all of them sympathy. But it could definitely be if you wanted to use like the hue of happiness with this same design and do a happy birthday or a different sentiment, you could definitely do that as well. So the first is I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 of our thick basic white. I don't know if you realize that there is a difference between our basic white. We have our layering basic white and then our card base basic white, and that's the thick. So anytime you're using the basic white for your base, you want to use the thick. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it right in half at 4.25. So I'm just going to take this, line up the edges and give that a good crease. Oh, there's something on my bone folder. So we're just going to make that the side we're going to cover up. And I'm going to work backwards on the designer series paper and cardstock. So this piece of designer series paper is 4 by 5.25. So I'm going to peel that off and stick it to the side. So that is going to go down on our card base. We have a piece of Calypso Coral, and this is 2.25 by 5. That is going to go right on the edge. We have a piece of basic white. This is 2 by 4.75. That is going to layer. We have designer series paper. Oh, it's 1.75 by 4.5. And everything is 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this one is 2 inches by 1.5. And then our last piece is 1.75 by 1.25. I did put all of these dimensions before I went live, so you don't have to worry about taking screenshots or writing all of this down. But those are the measurements, and this is how the card will look once we are done stamping and putting it all together. So we can go ahead and start by gluing down our card base. And I will tell you, when the back side is shimmery, sorry, there's a booger on the end of my glue. Let's get that off. When you do have the shimmer on the back side, it does take a minute to adhere. And come on, glue. Thank you. That's all you have to do. Sometimes you just have to talk to it. So you definitely do want to do this part first so you can set it aside and let it dry. So I'm just going to layer that. Just going to scoot that over, and then we can start working on these pieces. So I am literally just going to glue all 3 of these pieces together. And again, I want to do this one first so we can set this aside and dry, and then we can start working on the ribbon. So there's that. So I'm going to pick this one up, and it might shift a little bit, and it's okay because we'll just move it back around because it does take a little bit of a minute, but it didn't. So if it does shift, just push it back into place. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to push these aside so I can bring in some ribbon. So this is the soft seafoam ribbon. This ribbon does come in the bundle with the Splendid Day Suites, but I didn't want it to be the soft seafoam because there was no soft seafoam in the cardstock that I picked. So I brought in my light Calypso Coral blender pen, and I'm just going to take my blender pen and I'm going to color this. So now we will have Calypso Coral ribbon. You can do this with any of our lighter ribbons. I wouldn't suggest taking like a real red or blackberry bliss or something and trying to make that lighter, because it won't work. But if you have a light ribbon and you want to make it darker, it will work. So I'm going to do a nice amount because I want to tie a bow as well. So I'm just going to do a hair more. This is probably, I don't know, 12, 14 inches maybe. We'll see if that's enough. So first I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. And sometimes our ribbon, it does take a second to dry, but this one is actually pretty good. It dried pretty fast. So I'm going to take a piece and I'm going to lay it on this, wrap it around, trim off the edge. Oops, my scissors got stuck on my finger. Let's glue this side down. Did I get it? Yeah, I did. And I'm going to set that aside and see if I have enough to tie a bow. So I'm going to start with the left little tail. I'm going to start with that kind of short. And this one, I'm going to go long. Even though it's not colored, it's okay. So I'm going to flip the little bunny ears over. I'm going to tuck this in, flip that side around, and now I'm going to manipulate to get the size bow that I want. That looks pretty good. And yes, you can still see that this side I didn't color quite enough, and it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down and I'm going to come in and just color his tail. You don't have to start all over if you realize that you didn't have enough. Just color it and nobody will ever know. But I think I do want him a tiny bit smaller. He's a little big for what I want. Let's trim this off at the bottom. There we go. I think that looks perfect. So if you don't have the color bow that you want, you can always make it. So let's bring in the With Deepest Sympathy and our Calypso Coral. Oh, there's a fly in here. I'm gonna ink this up. And I am going to try to stamp this in the center. It's a little difficult sometimes because I have my camera right in front of me. Well, that's not tragic. I will use that one. We're going to use this on a different color, so I want to make sure to clean it so I don't accidentally stamp in a different color. So that's all we need with the Calypso Coral. I'm going to pick this up, add some adhesive, glue this down, push that to the side so it can attach, and now we can start putting our card together. Make sure to add some adhesive on top of your ribbon. Just gives it a little extra hold. Just place that right there. This fly is going to die. Maybe not while I'm live, but it will eventually. And I'm just going to put a couple mini glue dot or mini dimensionals on one side. And I'm going to come over to the other side and put some adhesive on there. Why I did that is this is a little bit thicker because we have 3 layers and I didn't want it to be too thick on one side. Because my original card, I did put dimensionals on both sides and you can kind of see that it's a little bit higher on this side versus here. So now we should be good on the height. We're going to grab another mini glue dot. Why is it that the flies don't bug you until you're right in the middle of doing something? Oh, and he's itty bitty. Do you see him? Oh, I got him. Sorry, that was really gross. But he was driving me crazy. He deserved it. Okay, so there you go. There is your Calypso Coral. And now I have 2 done. Let's do the pool party, because I really liked the pool party one as well. Hopefully I don't get any hate messages on killing a fly on a Facebook Live. I honestly really didn't mean to do that. He was just screaming at me. So I'm just going to attach this. And again, this one is 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And now we can glue all of these pieces together. They go pretty quick when you have everything pre-cut and ready to go. I know I always talk about like an assembly line, but I swear it does work. If you know you want to make 5 or 6 of these, just cut everything all at once and then assemble and stamp. Yes, Jennifer, it is better than a spider. You are correct. I always have to be the one who gets the spiders and the bugs out of the house. My husband calls me. There was a big bug in my craft room a few months back, and I called him because I thought it was going to attack me and I was going to die. And he was like, "Well, I'll get you the broom and dustpan. Just hold on and you can get it." I'm like, "What? No, that's why I called you." And I ended up getting the bug, pushing him. I didn't kill him, I pushed him over the hill. So hopefully a bird or something got him because I don't want him back in my craft room. So here is the pool party ribbon. This is so beautiful. At the July retreat, everybody got a full bolt of this ribbon. It is absolutely beautiful. I will say it's not the easiest to tie a bow in, and I'll show you why in a second, because it's so sheer that if your fingernails catch it, it's kind of frays a little bit. It's still beautiful, and we're still going to use it. And I always tie my bows on the bolt of ribbon. So you just have to be super gentle with this. If you pull too hard, it will kind of fray or snag, or I don't really know how to say it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can hear Hank barking, but the coyotes must be out because Hank is in full irritation mode. Oh yes, butterflies are good. Butterflies and ladybugs. I don't mind ladybugs. Those are probably the only bugs that I like. So with deepest sympathy, there we go. Clean that off so it is ready for our next card. Let's glue this down. So how many of you guys prefer the green multi-purpose glue, or do you guys prefer the snail adhesive? It's not called snail adhesive anymore. I forget the name of it actually. Seal Plus or the Seal. Do you guys have a preference? I have always been a liquid Tombow girl, but I do have some of the other. For scrapbooking, I will use the Seal Plus. I do use that for scrapbooking. Not that I've scrapbooked in many years, but I do have all the stuff to scrapbook. So there you go. There is card number 2. Oh, Heather, your snail? Yes. I think it's just what you kind of are used to. And even though I was originally a scrapbooker and we did the little pulp ones, this was years and years ago. Well, my oldest is 27, or the middle one's 27, so probably 30 years now that they have a lot better options. Oh, Jennifer, liquid glue? Yes, that's what I venture towards. It gives me more wiggle room. Like if something isn't quite right, I have about 2.5 seconds to fix it versus no time at all. I think that's why I like it. So gonna just glue these down. I'm just talking as we're gluing. Hopefully You guys, if you want the dimensions again, I did put them in the beginning before I went live. Then I did show the little snippets of all of it. And this pack of ribbon, everybody actually, oh no, look at that. That's all I have left. We're not going to be able to get a bow out of this one, but that's okay. Everybody got a bolt of this ribbon at the July retreat also. This came from the bear set. I forget the name of it. We are just going to improvise with this bow. Let's see if, oh, I don't even think I'm going to have enough to tie a knot. Yeah, no, we're just going to glue this down. I do have another bolt on the wall, so I'll tie a bow later. Make sure I got that on the back. There we go. Put some adhesive, definitely. I always put adhesive on the ribbon just to make sure it gets held down. And if you decide to make these in a different sentiment, definitely send it to me so I know you guys are crafting. And if you do need sympathy, these are perfect. So I'm going to ink this up in the crumb cake. There we go. And you could really even put some diamonds on this as well. I didn't, but you definitely could. I think this would be totally fine to add some gems. There we go. Let's flip this over. And if you have the big dimensionals, you could add big dimensionals too. I just don't have any on my live table. This is what I have right now. I think I need to stock up over here. So there we go. And I don't have the ribbon to tie the bow, but I do have more, so I'll tie it later. But here are your cards. They were quick and easy, and we don't want to sit and have to make them when we need them. So we should have some handy and ready to go. So let's bring all of them in. So I now have 6. I hope I don't need these, but if I do, they are set and ready to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed your live. I will be back on Thursday for another live, Thursday at 7. So every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 Arizona time is when I come and show you a fun new project. And I'm contemplating on doing a fun fold. So it has a couple extra steps in it, and I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to scare anybody away, but it is so stinking cute. I just might do it, and hopefully you guys, I won't scare anybody away. But if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. I am around, and if I don't hear from anybody, I will see everybody on Thursday. And we do have card class on Saturday, so I do have a few spots available. If anybody's plans have changed, you can definitely RSVP. So if you need anything, let me know. If not, I will see everybody on Thursday. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.